Hi guys, welcome to ZooView and our Mother's Day special. I hope everyone has a great Mother's Day on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Hi Mom. We do have a really special show for you guys today. If this is your first time, welcome. You're in for a real treat. We do have some really cute things. If you're coming back, welcome back. Yes, we'll get to you in a quick second. Once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments near the end and we'll get to them over air. If not, we will do our best to answer them through the comments the next couple of days. So this cute little one here is one of our African pygmy goats, only a few days old, so small. I know, I hear you, so small. So that's kind of based around our special today. It's going to be babies and moms and how cool they are in the animal kingdom. So this mom had a gestation about 150 days, and then they come out with 1, 2 little babies called kids, and then they'll nurse for them. I know! Just like being a mammal, just like how a lot of you mothers have breastfed your kids, same thing. They suck on a little teat where they get all of their nutrients from early on in the stages. Now, in Animal Kingdom, there's a lot of cool moms out there that do a lot of really special things. Meerkats will actually find other moms and other adult meerkats to look after or babysit their kids while they go out and find some food and stretch their legs. Cheetah moms will actually move their cubs of 2 to even up to 6 cubs every 4 days or so they don't build up smell and predators can find them. Marine animals like dolphins and whales, as well as hippos, they give birth in the water and they'll actually help push babies up to the surface to take their first breath. There is a seal called a harp seal that baby can actually identify mom out of 100 just by how she smells. And some of the coolest things and some of the hardest things are some of the biggest animals, like our giraffes that have a gestation of about 14 to 15 months. And our big African elephants can actually be up to 22 months, 95 weeks, almost 600 plus days of gestation before that baby is born. I know some people that have just had babies for 9 months and that's a pain. So I cannot imagine the struggle that they go through. So the babies there's a lot of animals in the animal kingdom that moms do really take good care of and look after. And today's special is all about that. So we do have another employee here at the park that is actually our baby curator of our department, as well as one of the zookeepers and one of the techs here. And her name is Kelsey, so she wears many hats here, but the big one she's gonna focus on today is gonna be her babies and what she does in her department. So here Kelsey is Kelsey.
Hi everyone, we have a special guest with us here today. This is Arlo. Arlo is a baby red kangaroo and he's almost 8 months old right now. Red kangaroos come from Australia. They are called a marsupial, and a marsupial just means that the babies will grow up in the mother's pouch. So these babies are actually born when they're only about 30 days old. So they're going to be in the pouch, in mom's belly for about 30 days. When they're born, they're about the size of a jelly bean or a little bit smaller. They're going to crawl up into mom's pouch and finish developing from the inside. So they're going to find a nice teat to latch onto. That nipple's going to swell to the size of their mouth. That way, while mom's bouncing around, they don't lose a hold of that nipple. And they're going to continue to grow from inside. When they're about 5 months old, they're going to poke their little heads out and peek around. They won't come out to hop until they're closer to 6 months old, but they're still going to return to mom's pouch to nurse and to feel safe. And they'll usually stay with mom, just sticking their nose in to nurse until they're about a year old. So he's right around 8 months right now. He likes to spend most of his time outside of the pouch hopping around, but as you can see, he still likes to feel nice and safe inside. Red kangaroos do get very large, especially the males. They can grow to be about 6 feet tall, and they'll weigh almost 200 pounds. Females are a little bit smaller, and they're going to be only about 75 pounds at the most. Kangaroos can hop really fast. They can hop up to 35 miles per hour, and they can easily jump about 20 feet in one span. So these guys can move pretty quickly.
Baby animals, what do you do?
Oh, so talking about the baby animal department, we do a lot of different things in our baby animal department, and one of them is taking care of these little guys. Some of them we bottle raise because they're going to other zoos, and that's the case for little Arlo here. When he gets to be older, being with his original family, he might be tempted to breed with his own mom, and we try to discourage that if we can. Also, he would become very aggressive and fight with the other dominant male that's in their mob, and the mob is what the group of kangaroos are called. So already knowing that he's not going to be spending all of his life here, we like to hand raise them because it makes the transition a lot less stressful for them. They already recognize people as friends, and as he moves on to his future home, he'll already be more acclimated to see other people. It won't be so much of just pulled right away from his family and stuck somewhere else. He'll kind of have some friends along the way. Some other things we do in baby animals is we take care of our babies that are abandoned from mom or they're sick or injured as a young, and that's the case for the little guy that Peter was holding earlier. He was born Wednesday night to a new mom. She didn't know how to take care of him, and so after he was born, she just kind of left him and walked away. So Thursday morning when our keepers came in, they found him. He was very cold, not able to stand. We brought him into our baby department and we started taking care of him, contacted our veterinarian to get a plan started, and as you can see, he's doing very well today.
Awesome, thank you, Kelsey. So yeah, the zoo plays a really big part here with little ones like this to help raise them, as well as trying to replicate what they do in the wild. So Kelsey, I know that everything is fed kind of differently, right? So what are some feeding differences between these two animals and anything else that you guys do in the baby department?
So the babies drink all different types of milk replacer. Excuse me. What the baby goat gets is not the same thing as what the baby kangaroo gets, is not the same thing as what the baby bobcats would get. They have different nutritional needs as far as what the fat volume, the protein is. So we kind of have to make sure that we have the right milk replacer for the right type of animal. Another thing is actually the type of nipple that they use, because everybody looks differently, everybody has different size teats, and so we have to remember, what formula we're using, what strength to mix it, what size teat to put on the bottle, and how often to feed them. Some little babies, like the kangaroo, are used to nursing 24/7, and so we have to make sure that we're feeding him overnight. Some animals, like goats, deer, calves, they can go a longer period of time overnight without a bottle, so we make sure we get him first thing in the morning and last thing at night before we leave.
Very cool, very cool. So that means your keepers that you have underneath you, they take things home at night, right? So
Yep.
it's 24 hours, like you said, all around the clock. Much like probably you parents do at home with any of your little ones and babies that are waking up and have to get fed all the time.
Yep, our staff has to be trained to know how to take care of different types of animals because they all have different rules.
Very cool, very cool. So these animals, as well as other animals here at the park, if you guys been to our safari tour, and you might have seen some calves out there, everything is done natural here, so we don't try to force anything. If something has a baby, something will have a baby, and our keepers, whoever's the keeper in that area, always pays attention to that. So anything in the safari field that is kind of out in the open, we always have close eyes on those calves, make sure that those babies and those animals are all well taken care of. And sometimes you can see that naturally as well. I know there are some tours out there that I've taken where we went out on one tour and there was no baby, and 45 minutes later you'd come back to the next tour and there was a baby there. So it's really, really cool and really unique and special. So that's all we have for these two little ones and our babies. We're going to open it up for you guys. If you guys have any questions about these two, about what Kelsey does with her baby animal department, and we'll turn it over to you guys in Jan.
Kelsey, Wendy's asking, can goats make good pets?
Goats can make good pets. Usually you want to stay away from males because males are not as friendly unless you get them castrated. That kind of takes away that testosterone and then they're very calm. But yeah, goats are usually pretty good pets. I wouldn't say in the house pets, more like outside if you have a barn or a shed and a big backyard, they would do a really good job mowing the lawn.
What other types of babies have you taken care of in the baby department?
So right now in our baby department, we also have a baby eland calf that was born out in the safari field. She had some injuries right after birth, and so we brought her in and got her all taken care of. We have some others like a pig, a bison calf, things like that. In the past, we've had baby servals, baby bobcats, we've had things like marmosets and tamarins that were abandoned by their mothers as well.
What animal do you have here at the park that stays the longest with its mom?
That stays the longest with its mom. It would probably be if a kangaroo was to stay with its mom in the pouch, because they will stay, like I said, nursing from mom until they're about 12 months old, and that's a lot longer than most animals do.
I know, was in the whole animal kingdom, orangutans,
Yeah.
those kids actually stay with mom or visit mom up until they're 16, 15 or 16. So orangutans and a lot of those primates do have a really strong bond with their offspring.
Laura wants to know, how old would a goat be when it develops horns?
So goats will actually start developing horns almost immediately after birth. Can you feel his little buttons yet, Peter? Right after birth, they have what we call buttons, which are just the little part of the horn that's starting to push through the top of their head, and they start growing right away. Some will grow faster than others. Every species is different, and with goats, it's usually within a couple months that you'll start to see a nice little stub.
Holt and Cody want to know, how long do kangaroos live?
Kangaroos will live to be almost 25 years old.
If that's a red kangaroo, why is it gray?
So the coloration of kangaroos usually is determined by the male. The red kangaroo males are a very deep red. The females are almost like a gray color, and they're actually called blue flyers out in the wild.
We have a question, Kelsey. What has been your favorite unique animal to take care of?
My favorite is probably the kangaroos, just because they're so different from anything else as far as what their needs are, and they're the closest, I think, to an actual human baby. They like to cuddle and sit on your lap, and so it's very comforting to take care of these little guys.
What was the most difficult baby your department ever had to take care of?
The most difficult is definitely the marmosets and the tamarins, because when they're first born, they're like the size of your thumb or even a little bit smaller. And so their belly is very super tiny, and they can only drink a drop or two of milk at a time. And so we feed them every 2 hours. Sometimes we stretch it to every 3. So when you have a baby that size, you're getting up almost constantly throughout the night to feed them.
Do all of the moms in the animal kingdom take care of their babies?
No, so there's a lot of species that don't. So they kind of break it off into K and R selection. So a lot of them do take care of them, humans, things like that, all the ones I kind of mentioned, until they're full size and can be on their own. But a lot of times, some babies come out already ready to go. A lot of times with reptile species or insect species, they don't come out. They come out ready to go. Mom gives birth, lays eggs, they hatch, and they're at least suffice enough to be on their own. A lot of times, sea turtles is a good relatable one. Moms lays an egg, those eggs in the nest, the sea turtles hatch, and then they gotta find their way off into the ocean and kind of survive by themselves. So it kind of varies by species.
Another thing is like the bird species, the rat types, like emus and rheas out in the safari field. Females will lay the eggs, and it's actually the male that raises them. He's going to sit on that nest for 35 to 40 days. He'll hatch out all the chicks, and then he's the one that raises them for the first 6 months. So female rat types, which are your large species of birds, flightless, they will actually take care of the babies. It will be the male.
All right, I think we have time for one more question right now. So Jan, what do we have?
We have one more question from Rachel. It's actually a two-parter. How many animals do you have total at the park, and how many different animals do we have?
So we have over 700 individual animals here at the park. That includes all of our reptiles, our mammals, and our birds. There's over 100 species of animals here at Lake Tobias.
Awesome. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Kelsey, for bringing these two little ones down and for me to help hold this one. Thank you guys for coming out. Always, like I say, connect, protect, and change. You guys always have a big part in your environment and ecosystem. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there over the weekend. If you guys have any questions, put in the comments. We will do our best to get to them. And stay tuned on our Facebook for some more ZooViews next week, as well as continue to keep checking back. We are closed right now but hopefully we will be able to post something up soon about when we open. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Kelsey, for coming down. Enjoy your rest of your weekend, guys. Happy Mother's Day.